the entire time they've been using a Ouija board, they've been talking to who she calls the tall man who lives inside her doll. The moment the planchette flew off the board, his eyes started rolling to the back of his head and he began convulsing. Let's start our October episodes with terrifying encounters of how using a Ouija board can go wrong, thanks to those of you on Reddit.
I don't need this.
Okay, you don't have to be here.
Greetings!
Prom night didn't go as planned.
Yeah, she was pecked away by birds, ravens, if you will. This
Are
is
you
two
responsible
girls.
for the pig's blood?
I guess. This is Two Girls, One Ghost.
2 girls, 1 ghost. And we are your ghostesses. Today, we have Edgar Allan Poe
Hello.
and Carrie.
We're horror icons.
And I got blood everywhere.
It was really fun pouring it. I can't laugh. My mustache comes off.
You are the, like, I'm
Sabrina said I was
attracted
hot.
to you as Edgar
Because you
Allan Poe.
like Edgar Allan Poe.
Like,
You like me as Edgar Allan
you're
Poe.
a hot Poe.
Thanks. I don't even recognize myself, but I feel like I look like a
Cross.
puppet.
So,
Happy Halloween!
happy October.
When did it happen?
When did it happen? Corinne poured blood on
Moments
me
ago.
moments ago.
And
So-
we're using our curtain as a sheet for Sabrina to sit on.
Yes.
Can you see?
Yes, I am able to open my eyes now.
Despite blood being all over
All
one
over
of them.
Welcome to the first costume episode of
Mhm.
October and the beginning of what is and always has been the most haunted month here at Two Girls, One Ghost. We are dressing up for all of our researched episodes. And this month, we're also bringing in haunted objects. So
Oh, yeah.
in 2 days' time, an episode will come out where we introduce all of the haunted objects that we will be introducing throughout this month.
Mhm.
But today, we have with us Lily, and we have a ghost cam, which is our ghost tube. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the camera. So if she moves at all, or if the EMF reader goes off, or the ghost ball cat toy goes off, you can see that. But if you're listening, you can also just hear any EVPs or sounds or words. It's so weird in my hand.
Yeah, and we'll repeat things if we feel like they're
important.
pause worthy.
I just showed my foot.
There we go. You didn't show your foot. Carrie showed her foot.
Carrie.
Her bloody little foot.
What would your mother think?
Oh. You know what's funny is
Look closely.
look closely.
At what? I have blood in my ear.
Ooh, yuck. I hate that.
Like, I feel like I went swimming and I have to.
Oh, gosh. This is like really thick and syrupy.
What
Costumes
were you
are
gonna say?
commitments and we like them.
You were going to say something.
Oh, it's not super important. I was just going to say last year we had so many costumes and Noah was not phased at all. And this year he's like, I think he's going to have nightmares.
I did feel really bad walking in like this.
Yeah.
And then
He
also,
looked really concerned and he didn't, a little boo-boo lip came out. He didn't want to touch my mustache.
bummer.
I know. I'll put it on him later. Unibrow.
One day he's going to be like, was this real or did I make this up?
All of my memories of Auntie Sabrina are kind of traumatic. So let us know what you're being for Halloween and let us know what your guesses are for our next costumes.
Yeah, stay tuned for our next episodes. This was supposed to be our least intense costume.
You do this every year. You set the rules and then you totally ignore them. You said this is our basic one. So I was like, great. I put a little bit of like brown under my eyes and I stick a wig on, slap a mustache on, and here I am, Poe.
Well, to be fair, this episode and the next episode, I had to switch which is which.
I can't get through.
I'm sorry. Lily, you're welcome to communicate. You can't get through to us? I had to switch because we're going to record Crimes Of after the next episode that we record. So I couldn't go from this to
that was
recording
way less
ready.
easy.
I want to talk.
I do need
Please.
to probably do a bit of a shower after next episode or something before we record Crimes Of.
In the vein of creepy haunted episodes and communicating with the other side, I thought, what better
Talk
way?
with me.
Okay, let's pause.
Here we
Something
are.
wants to talk with us. Is it you, Lily?
Watch.
What do you want us to watch?
Watch.
Want to watch the movie Carrie? Sorry, you were very attractive, Edgar Allan Poe. You're just an attractive dude. Creepy dude.
This is so funny.
Lori.
Who's Lori?
Lori also likes me now. So I guess if you're just tuning into Two Girls, One Ghost,
Welcome.
welcome. We don't normally have haunted objects with us. And Lily, kind of like the too long, don't read, is that she is a kind of mass-produced vessel that was inspired by an old tradition of creating these vessels as a form of protection in the month of October and can kind of ward off evil, but also almost acts as a vessel for other spirits to inhabit should they feel so inclined to need a welcoming host. And Lily is that. So is she haunted at the moment? Probably not. I don't know.
So as you'll see in episode, or the Haunted With that comes out in a couple days, we had multiple objects here with us. And so it was really hard to decipher who was communicating with us and when. So each episode, we're going to do them individually.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we'll be able to look back and be like, oh, it was definitely that spirit communicating with us.
Right. And kind of notoriously, our October episodes have had a lot of activity, and a lot of our listeners have become haunted for
Yes.
the month of October or just after listening to some of those episodes. So we thought this year we'd bring in a couple special guests to
Make it
see,
worse.
you know, like if the reactions can also be caught live in the moment, and if we can also identify, like, is this going to be a really haunting-inducing episode? So we'll see.
Stay tuned. Either way, we definitely recommend setting intentions. I think we could even say right now, and this is like a very basic one, so I recommend you do it for yourself, whether internally or out loud. Set your intentions
Need.
and your boundaries.
Yeah, we do need to do that.
You need to do that. Nothing dark, nothing malevolent, nothing malicious is welcome in our space, in our home, in our hearts, in our souls. We are surrounded by love, light, and positivity. We are protected, and we do not welcome anything to touch us, to harm us, to follow us, to stay with us. Capiche?
Capiche.
Jinx. Jinxie.
Jinxie,
Okay.
you owe me a horror story.
Alrighty. I'll tell you a couple today.
Ooh.
So we are opening ourselves up, communicating with the other side, inviting a...
Scratching. Pain. It's dark.
I'm sorry, it's dark.
That was a lot all at once. Are you okay?
Are you in pain? And are you itchy? I'm going to give you a little itch. These nails are perfect for itching. Scratchy, scratchy, scratchy. So like we are doing right now, opening ourselves up and communicating with the other side, I figured let's start our October episodes with how that can go wrong.
Of course.
Singing.
You want me to sing the whole episode?
Don't make me sing.
So we're going to start our October episodes with an episode all about terrifying encounters of how using a Ouija board can go wrong, thanks to those of you on Reddit.
Oh my God. It's like a confusing thing because I feel like I had such a huge fear of Ouija boards, and I still kind of do, even though now we've played one. But it's like this weird back and forth in my mind where I'm like, well, if the right person uses it and they do it, we could have some cool stories.
Setting intentions is the most important. Boundaries is very important. And a lot of the people in these stories did not do those things. So the first one I'm going to read and tell you.
I don't need this.
Okay, you don't have to be here. Sorry, didn't mean to be rude. Okay.
Sabrina's like, then leave.
Sorry, Carrie's gotten into me. I'm pissed. So this first one is called The Tall Man, a haunted doll gone wrong. Okay, as we're joined by a haunted object, I thought, let's start with a haunted doll story.
You saying that directly into my eyes, I feel like you just called me an object.
I'm talking about Lily.
I was like, wow,
but I have
nothing.
been objectifying you, so I do apologize. Is anyone else attracted to Corinne as Edgar Allan Poe? Because I am. Sorry if I'm making you uncomfortable. I'll keep my thoughts to myself.
I'm stirring like a pig, bleeding out over Sabrina.
So this was originally posted on Reddit.
Encouraging.
They're encouraging you. Oh no, my button.
Oh no.
My
Is that how
gumdrop
Poe
button.
talks?
I have not done, I don't even know how Poe talks. I've definitely not done anything close to it so far.
In the very beginning, I think you opened up with it. So this story was originally posted 2 years ago on Reddit by Salt and Peppa in 1997. The story is about Jen. And Jen grew up in a Catholic family. She was very much like, it was instilled in her, like the fear of God. Don't mess with the occult. Don't mess with anything woo-woo Catholicism. And she followed that religiously until college. And then she met Kayla. When Jen went to college, she became friends with a girl named Meg. And Meg introduced her to two other girls, Becca and Kayla. And Meg had roomed with Becca and Kayla like the year prior.
Where are we?
We're in the Two Girls, One Ghost recording studio. The month is September. 2025.
Jen inevitably became friends with Becca and Kayla because she was really good friends with Meg. Jen and Meg spent a ton of time together, and oftentimes where there was Meg, there also were Becca and Kayla. And immediately Jen felt like something was off about Kayla. She couldn't figure out what, but she just got weird vibes. She tried to sympathize.
Are you frightened?
Should we be? As she learned more about Kayla, she tried to empathize with her and sympathize. And she was like, okay, Kayla has a really kind of sad upbringing and history and could have benefited from going to therapy, but didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So Jen was like, maybe that's it. Maybe that's why I'm getting a weird vibe about Kayla. She's just got a lot in her past. But then over time, that weird feeling started to spread to Becca too. Again, she tried to write it off. One night, Jen and Meg are alone in Meg's dorm room, and they're just talking about religion, as you do with your friends, and they're both agreeing about how...
As you do with your friends.
As you do with your friends.
Yeah, religion, politics.
And they're both kind of talking about how they grew up religious from their families, but they don't really feel stuck to one religion per se, but they have religious and spiritual practices that they do internally.
Okay, so conversations you and I have had.
Yeah, exactly. Like you have with your friend.
Mm-hmm.
And as they're having this conversation, Jen finally goes, so I get this weird vibe from Kayla. And she's expecting Meg to just kind of write it off or wave her off or be like, oh my gosh, no, she's so nice. And instead, Meg's face kind of falls and she goes, yeah, she feels the exact same way. And there's something that Meg never told Jen about Kayla.
Prison.
Meg lived with Becca and Kayla the year before, like I said. And apparently Kayla loved to use the Ouija board often.
Can you imagine a roommate doing secret Ouija board sessions?
Well,
how do you even do that in secret?
I don't know, just
I feel
in
like I
your
was
dorm
always
room, in the
busting
bathroom.
in the rooms of my roommates.
Well, so over time, I guess.
Let me try.
You want to try using a Ouija board? So over time, Meg and Becca would join in Kayla using the Ouija board. Then things got really strange. Meg started waking up in the middle of the night to see an enormous billowing figure in the corner of her room. She started having nightmares. Things in the apartment started to feel weird. And finally, it got to be too much. And she thought she was the only one experiencing it. So she hadn't said anything up until this point. It got to be too much. She basically goes to Kayla and Becca and is like, I'm having these weird things happen. What's going on? And Becca, too, had been experiencing things and was too scared to talk about it. And then they turned to look at Kayla, who's so nonchalant. She says, oh, that's just him.
Who?
That's exactly
just him.
They asked.
Okay.
And then Kayla shares... Device? Yeah, you're communicating through a device.
Why are you asking?
Well,
about him?
It's just a conversation. You take a turn, we take a turn. You take a turn again.
Let's set another boundary. Lily, or the spirit here, we'd love for you to converse with us regarding this story, or if there's anything too scary about the story, or if you feel some other presence join the room, please notify us. But we'd also like to share the stories.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can contribute after the stories. This is a podcast.
We bring you here and then we tell you what to do.
Yes. So Meg and Becca look exactly like you just did. Who the fuck is him?
Are you from here?
And Kayla explains that the entire time they've been using a Ouija board, they've been talking to who she calls the tall man, who lives inside her doll. Kayla bitch said, what? That is when Kayla reveals that she has an antique doll that she basically got from her grandparents' attic one time and took with her everywhere. And that the doll was haunted with an attachment that she called the tall man.
Oh my God.
Hence this billowy figure that Meg had been seeing in her bedroom. So after that, Meg's like, okay, well, I'm no longer using the Ouija board. No more for me. But Becca and Kayla continued to use it. And there was one day where Meg walked into their shared room to find Kayla and Becca using the Ouija board. And as she walked in, the planchette flew off the board. And Kayla turns to Meg and goes, he doesn't like having you around. And that's when things got even weirder. Obviously, Meg couldn't wait until move out, but she had to live there the next couple of months. The tall man began appearing to her more and more. One night, she found him standing at the edge of her bed. And then every night thereafter, he got closer and closer and closer until he was basically standing on top of her.
Oh my God.
She didn't know what to do, but after the night where he was basically standing on top of her, he never appeared again. And she was able to move out. Nothing really followed her. But so Meg is now telling Jen about this. And now everything's making sense to Jen. Jen's like, oh, that's why I'm getting a weird feeling about Kayla. She's got a weird, creepy attachment and uses a Ouija board all the time. So a couple weeks later, Jen runs into another friend whose name is Jess. And Jess is like stressed. Jen's like, hey, what's going on? And Jess breaks down and is so like sobbing. So Jen and Jess go get coffee and Jess goes
I
on.
don't need this.
I know you don't like the story. Sorry. There's going to be more. Jess tells her that she's been having some really, really bad experiences in her housing. She was being tormented. Cabinet doors were flying open and slamming shut. The front door was opening and closing. She literally had to call the police because she thought someone was breaking into her apartment. She, while trying to sleep, would be awoken by cold hands smacking her face. And so she had her sister come and stay with her. They both started seeing a massive billowing figure looming at the foot of their bed. And there was another night where she was showering when all of a sudden, like, all the bathroom cabinets started slamming. And then the shower curtain was like ripped open. And then when she like peered out, obviously terrified, she heard what sounded like feet running down the hallway. Can you guess what dorm this girl Jess was living in?
The tall man room dorm.
The same dorm room that Kayla, Becca, and Meg had lived in the year before.
Ooh, you know what I don't like about that? It's like clearly this girl using this Ouija board summoned this being in, but now it's left there. So it's not like it's following her.
Or is it doing both?
Oh, it's true.
And also Kayla's
Or was
just
it
like,
always there?
it sounds like Kayla's been talking to this tall man for a while. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, because she thinks it's attached to her doll or what was the object?
Yeah, haunted antique doll.
Her haunted antique doll. Huh.
Basically, when Jen had run into Jess, she was trying to get a new housing situation. She was trying to leave her dorm. Unfortunately, she couldn't. So she had to live out the rest of the year in this place. And Jen obviously runs to Meg's and tells Meg this whole story. And so Meg is like, well, maybe we should talk to Kayla. Maybe Kayla can do something. Call him back. Call her tall man friend back. When she tells Kayla what's going on, Kayla just laughed and said, oh, yeah, well, because he doesn't like strangers.
Okay, well, that's ominous and creepy. Can you imagine? You're like being tormented by this thing and it's like, well, it doesn't like you because it doesn't know
Kayla's
you.
way too casual about it.
Kayla's creepy.
Kayla is creepy. Creepy Kayla. Unfortunately, Jess stayed in the apartment for the rest of the year and things got worse before they got better. One night, Jess and her sister were staying in the apartment when a crucifix in her room started shaking and fell off the wall. And at the moment, restless? Are you restless?
A restless spirit.
As the crucifix fell off the wall, the closet door opened and shut, like super loud. And Jess's sister was there too. And Jess and her sister like held each other and started repeating like a prayer over and over and over.
Of course. Not necessarily.
And as they're repeating this prayer, you are chatty. This is way chattier than when we did.
I know.
Lily does like attention, apparently.
That's what the instruction said.
Yeah. So as they're repeating this prayer over and over, all of a sudden the room is like shrouded in a white flash, an enormous wave of light. And then everything went still. A very, very calm silence took over the apartment. And they never had an experience there again. She lived in that dorm for the rest of the school year, which was like 3 months. No problem.
Wow.
Yeah. That is the tall man.
Can you imagine, like, college kids? I know we felt adults when we were in college, but like, you were just living with your parents. Like, you're still a child, really.
You are a child.
And now you have to navigate adulthood, all the relationships, figure out who you are, figure out your own boundaries and responsibilities.
Yeah.
All while maintaining degrees or sports or friendships, like whatever you're doing. And then the place that you live in is haunted by a creepy tall man.
What's my name? Well,
I say that as if we both didn't live it. We did.
You lived it way more than I did.
Well, you did freshman year.
That's true. And you came in and saved me.
Yeah. I had my ghost hunting kit.
You did. The spirit just asked, what's my name? You could be whoever you want. The doll that is in front of us has a name called Lily. And if you would like to be Lily, we can call you Lily. Spirit who is here, how do you feel about the tall man? Friends? Foe? You don't know? Edgar Allan Poe? My next story is what I'm calling Boy Scout Camp and the Beast.
Ooh, I like this. This feels like we're watching Goosebumps or like reading a Goosebumps.
It does feel like that. You're having fun.
I am.
I'm trying to scare you guys.
Oh, sorry.
I guess it makes sense that Poe would enjoy this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is funny because there are a couple costumes that are coming up where I'm like, and I think we struggled with this last year too, where when you're dressed in costume, the theater kid in me comes out so badly where I'm like, well, I'm no longer Sabrina. I have to be.
I am this other thing.
Like I'm embodying it,
right.
But then also I have to be Sabrina at the same time to do our podcast.
And it also feels unnatural almost to like be in a costume and not do something.
And not be in character,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're like, why? I'm just randomly dressed like this?
And
Monster.
talking like normal.
Like a monster?
Like a monster. Cookie monster. That would be a fun costume.
That's a good costume.
I did
That's
look up
kid-friendly.
how to DIY a Labubu costume. And let me just say, it would have been way too much work. So
Yeah. Also, I hate them. I think
they're the Furbies of our generation.
super ugly. I know they're supposed to be ugly. I don't understand it. I'm going to say some harsh words. I think they're dumb. I think they're stupid.
How do you really feel?
I just question why this is a trend.
I do think their origin is really, really cool. Like, there was an artist who created these monsters and then it blew up. So good for you, creator of Labubu.
Shop.
Yeah, people are selling them out in
Get
like
their
gas
paycheck.
stations.
Yeah.
The nail salon I went to is like raffling off Labubus.
All right, back to Boy Scout Camp and the Beast. And this was posted 5 years ago on Reddit, but the
How old are
user-
you?
I don't know how old are you? Oh my God, we didn't even talk about Sven's costume.
Oh my gosh.
He's a ghost. He's like, I've been sick of being a skeleton.
Just bones.
Just bones. Give me a sheet.
We gave him clothes. He's no longer nude.
Okay, so this was shared by a user. The account has since been deleted, so I don't know who it is, but it's Boy Scout Camp. I'm going to give them the name Bennett.
I
So
don't
nearly
know.
a decade ago, Bennett was a Boy Scout at summer camp, tucked deep into the woods. The days were filled with hikes, swimming, laughter, so much fun. But there was a weird thing that happened at night. It always got really still and quiet and eerie at night. And as you do at camp, one night they're all sitting around a campfire, the embers are slowly dying, and they're telling ghost stories. And as they're all scaring each other, one of the older scouts has a great idea. Let's get a Ouija board out. They pull the board out, and it's, it's supposed to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bunch of boys.
Love.
You love this? Great.
This
a bunch of
perfect horror
boys
movie setting.
having fun. Bennett, who doesn't want to get made fun of, he's a little nervous about it. He's never used a Ouija board. He doesn't want to be left out. He doesn't want to
Mhm.
be the weird kid who doesn't join in. Peer pressure. So he joins. And
Mistake number one.
almost immediately, the planchette begins to move. It starts spelling names. It's answering questions. All of the boys are accusing one another. You're doing it. You're doing it. All this stuff. Answers kept coming. Clear, deliberate. So then
Absolutely.
they start to be like, okay, someone's got to be doing this. Let's do some tests and figure out who's doing it, right? So they do different scenarios where it's like, this group of 4 boys, you do the board. The rest of us will watch. Okay, now swap it out, another group. And then they basically narrow it down and they realize that the board is way more active and only really working if Bennett is using it.
Oh, I hate that.
Yes. So then, but their
It's difficult.
belief,
Chased.
well, something was chasing Bennett. They basically are like, oh, well, obviously that means that Bennett is the one who's manipulating the board. And Bennett swears. He's like, I swear I'm not doing anything. And he's obviously feeling uneasy, but all the other boys are like, oh, Bennett, you're
Why
doing
can't
this.
I come? Bring it to me.
What do you want us to bring to you?
Can you see me?
You're so chatty.
We can't see you, but we can hear you.
It seems like you are figuring out how to use GhostTube. So,
You can also use this to communicate.
Mark.
Mark, they decide that they're going to basically prove that Bennett's faking it.
Mhm.
And so they're like, Bennett, you're going to use the board alone and we're going to put a blindfold on you. Because if Bennett is doing it, if he has a blindfold on, he won't be able to manipulate the board. Right. So they blindfold Bennett and they, unbeknownst to Bennett, flip the board. So that,
Okay. Oh my gosh, you literally read my mind because I just now was like, okay, well, if you think about typing on a keyboard or even back when we had keys on our cell
Yeah.
phones, I didn't have to look at all.
Right.
You can just do it. So I was
T9.
thinking well, if he used it enough.
So they flip the board so that rather than the alphabet being spelt facing him, it's turned.
Mhm.
Bennett has no idea. He's blindfolded, right?
Moron.
Who's a moron?
Probably me based on the last time we recorded with these haunted objects.
It's not. I don't think it was her.
That's true. She
I don't
is
think it
not
was
mean
her.
to me. There was one spirit who is not a fan.
And we'll find out which one that is.
Or maybe it was her, but now that I'm Edgar.
Oh, she likes Edgar. You're no longer Corinne. Oh, you're thirst trapping everyone out there.
Come on, write a little story about you.
Or bury you in the floor and just hear your heartbeat.
Dun-dun, dun-dun. Nothing more romantic.
Okay, so they blindfold Bennett And still impossibly, it is spelling out words. It is answering the questions. So they're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's landing on letters. It's deliberate. And it's spelling things. But Bennett doesn't know what. So he's blindfolded. He can't see the board, but he hears like the gasps and the oohs and the ahs of the scouts around him. They're like, no way, that can't be real. And he can hear the fear in their voices as they ask, who are we talking to? And now he hears someone spell out the letters as the planchette moves. B, E, A, S, T. Beast. A gasp moves through the others and Bennett's heart begins to race. Someone asks Bennett to stop and he swears behind the blindfold. He's like, I'm not doing anything, I promise. This time they really do believe him because the entire atmosphere around them shifts and changes. It gets thick, heavy. Bennett rips the blindfold off as the planchette is continuing to move under his fingers, this time spelling out the Watcher. The beast, the Watcher, whatever they're communicating with felt threatening, dark, malicious.
Shoot, because part of me was hoping, I was like, what if it's just like some guy and his nickname was the Beast with his friends? He's like, it's me,
Mr.
the
Beast.
Yeah, Mr. Beast, right?
Enraged.
But
Can
now
you see me?
You really want the spotlight. Yeah, everyone
want
can
to be
see
seen.
you. We can see
we can see the doll.
but we unfortunately can't see your body. And maybe someone watching, listening, can hear and see you in a different way.
There's two other things to manipulate here too in terms of communication. You can use the EMF reader, come close to it, and we'll know that it's you if the lights spike. And then we also have this cat ball over here that lights up if you would like to touch it.
So just as everyone is freaking out, Bennett's hands are still on the planchette. An icy chill creeps into his fingertips, starts in his fingertips, and it moves up his hand, up his arms, filling his entire body, moving through his veins. And as it's moving up his arms, the planchette flies off the board. And in that instant, Bennett says his reality completely shifts, like a dream. All of a sudden, the boys, the wilderness around him just disappears and he dissolves into this grainy black and white world. He calls it a void that smelt faintly of smoke and iron. And there in front of him, 3 shapes emerge from the gloom. They're tall, skeletal outlines, human, but wrong. Their bodies rippled like shadows drawn in charcoal, smeared and smudged into motion, like smoke was clinging to them, drifting from their limbs and tendrils that reached out toward him like hungry, hungry fingers.
Ew.
Hippos, hungry, hungry hippos.
Hungry, beastly hippos.
He felt certain that these figures were going to drag him into the fire. He recalls like whatever this reality that he shifted into felt like he was there for a really, really long time, but it was probably very short.
This is so not fair because
Rational.
this is like he ended up in the world that people do when they play paranormal games, but he wasn't trying to play a paranormal game. He was trying to communicate through a talking board.
Isn't that a paranormal game though?
Well, it's advertised as a game, but it's...
And also there are Boy Scouts at camp playing it like it's a game.
True.
When he comes to, all the other scouts around him are horrified, rushing towards him. And he was later told that the moment the planchette flew off the board, his eyes started rolling to the back of his head and he began convulsing.
Holy shit.
He doesn't have recollection of that because for him, he disappeared almost into a different reality.
Oh my gosh. Do they all have their like little CPR badges?
Probably.
I mean, not a bad group to have an emergency in front of, right? They're all training for something.
He was okay. But Bennett was never really okay after this because his whole reality shifted after this. He spent the rest of the time at camp feeling lost.
Like you.
We like you? Oh, who's we? Wait, maybe they do like you, Corinne. Whoever's here. It was a different spirit.
It was
that
a
doesn't
different...
like
Okay,
you.
well, interesting. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks.
So the
Don't
rest
come in.
So the rest of the time at camp, Bennett spent it like in a daze, kind of like staring off. He has never touched a Ouija board since.
I can't believe he didn't go home.
I mean, what can you do? Like he just like wanted to like ignore what happened, right?
The beast that's stalking you and ripping you in, the Watcher, that indicates that like it's always watching you while you're there. Go to sleep and you'll be ripped into another dimension once more.
And that's kind of what happened.
Oh shit.
Ever since using that Ouija board, he's never touched one since, but he's never been the same. Actually, the camp that he went to apparently has banned Ouija boards since this encounter. But Bennett realized, and he's realized this in the years that have followed this encounter, that he never closed the session. No one did. So it was left open. In the years since, which was like 10 plus years ago, Bennett had started being haunted in very subtle and strange ways, sometimes being woken from
By no
nightmares,
means.
where in the nightmares, he's no longer himself, but the monster, the beast. Sometimes he sees flickers of figures at the edge of his vision, like he's being watched. Dreams plague him, strange landscapes, abstract places. There's one dream that reoccurs where there's a woman who appears to him who feels familiar and calls him by another name. And there was one time where he was in college when he woke up from these visions and he felt like he had entered an alternate reality, which is kind of what happened in that moment where to everyone else, he's convulsing, but he entered this like black and white realm.
It's so strange because like in one way, I feel like the spirit is manipulating him and like forcing him to see these things. And then there's another part of me that's like, is he somehow connected to this thing where like they're one and the same? And he's seeing some of these visions because like it is him in a way.
He's the beast.
Yeah. And that's why he was the only one that could tap in.
I don't know. It doesn't
Another
seem
wild
good.
part of him was reconnected that night in the woods.
I think multiple things happened that night. I think something dark started following him. And because of it, he opened himself up to the other side and has been able to like tap into things that you and I just can't. But there was a family friend once, like after this encounter, who kind of like looked at him and was like, there's a dark energy around you. And he was like,
Be careful.
Be
Sick.
careful.
I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, that's the story of Boy Scout camp and the beast and how poor Bennett has been plagued by
Oh my gosh.
who knows what.
See, this is the thing. It's like sometimes when we do research, it's one specific case, right? But like on Reddit and in our own inbox, there are infinite number of people who are experiencing these things.
Right.
Which is so scary that there are so many horrifying tales to tell. And I feel like that is part of the reason why we had such a fear of Ouija boards for so long, because like that's the number one denominator of so many of these stories. It starts with the misuse of a Ouija board.
Yes. And I think the most important lesson we have learned over the years is it's about proper intentions and not tempting fate necessarily.
Yeah.
Like if you open yourself up and invite dark things in, they're waiting for that door to be opened.
Right. Which it does make me question. So like, you know, Bennett and his friends, they didn't close out that specific board. So it's like, what do you do to close out the board after you no longer have access to it?
I have no idea.
Maybe someone can tell us.
Yeah, let us know.
Witches?
Do you
We're
have
tapping you in.
answers? Yeah. Phone a friend. Phone a witch. Oh, fun.
That would be so great.
Hello? It's like Creeps and Crimes calling Susan.
I know.
Okay, so then this story is another scary story about a Ouija board gone wrong, and it's called, Hey, so Mom's possessed. So this user left their names out of the story, so I'm going to call them the twins because they're twins. The twins were normal kids, rowdy, bored, always down to get into something a little bit reckless. They're like the kids out of a Stephen King novel like The Stand. They rode their bikes, spent afternoons in bookstores reading books about witchcraft, and daring one another to do dangerous, spooky things. Things that they knew very little about. Oh, that went up to yellow.
It is. That's the first time this is happening.
Hello? The twins?
Nothing spookier than a set of twins.
How?
Okay.
She's hiding.
Who's hiding?
Where? Ooh, that creeped me out.
One thing that they decided to dare each other about one summer was about using a Ouija board. So this one day, the twins decide to ride their bikes to Toys R Us and buy a Ouija board. You know, an ordinary Ouija board.
Good old Hasbro 1992
Yeah.
edition. Classic.
Exactly. What did it say? Wave?
Did it say wave?
I can't tell. I can't read. I'm blind. So they buy an ordinary Ouija board
Confusing.
that comes to terrify their family and them. At first, it seemed harmless. They set the scene like they'd read in books. So they lit candles. They did a ring of salt. They also scratched a pentacle into the floor because they're twins and they're kids. And at first, like using the board, it was like very fun. The board would respond playfully, give small details that like they claim no one should know. It even predicted the high school that the twins would attend, which turned out to be true years later. And I think it wasn't like a local high
Can you
school.
see me?
Oh, I was like, well, that's kind of predictable.
Right.
But it is weird that they went so hard, right? Like it's
Yeah.
not just like, hey, let's go play the Ouija board. Like they're setting up the scene. They're digging
'Cause they
pentagram
read a
into their
lot.
floor.
It almost feels like they did set intentions in the beginning. Like they lit candles. They like
Okay.
almost did a ritualistic setup. But so as time passed this summer, as they continued to use the Ouija board, they grew a little bit careless and no longer set the intentions, no longer lit the candles in
Please
a
go.
ritualistic way.
A feather was on me. The birds,
How
they're finding
po
me.
of
And it's
you.
not from the raven on my shoulder.
Yeah, where'd that come from?
I have no idea. It's white. Probably.
In the chair?
Does this have feathers in it?
Probably in the cushions.
Perhaps.
So they now would just start playing. They'd light a candle or two, but more for the mood. And that's when the messages started to turn dark. The planchette would spell out curse words. It would taunt them. It would threaten them. And then they started hearing whispers in the room, a chanting that seemed to emanate from everywhere and nowhere.
Oof.
A sulfuric smell drifted through the air. And then came the night that changed everything. They're playing with the Ouija board, and one of the twins is like, if you're a demon,
On
prove
no
it.
account. Leave here.
You don't have to stay here. So yeah,
But we cannot leave.
no,
I live here.
I will take you home with me, whatever entity is here. One of the twins says, if you're a demon, prove it. And then the twin takes one of the candles and kind of drips wax, kind of as a taunting the entity.
Mm.
And the response is immediate. The planchette starts to violently move under their fingertips, and the air turned so cold that they said they could see their breath.
Absolutely.
The sulfur smell got even more intense.
Yuck.
And from the dark comes a low, deep, inhuman, guttural growl. That sounded so scary in my clogged ears.
Ooh.
Ugh,
It was a good
I hated
one.
that.
It seemed like it vibrated your whole upper torso when you did it.
It did.
It's deep from
That
within.
came from the depths. As this growl emanates through the room, all of the candles extinguish, plunging them into a darkness.
Oh, that's one of the things that I wish all skeptics could just sit there and experience that too.
I know.
Although I think if you are a skeptic, you're well, there has to be something. There was wind in that moment, or it was just a coincidence.
And the groan.
You don't want to believe it.
Yeah. Panicked. The boys just wanted to get out of there as quick as possible. So they do not follow any rules. They do not close out the session. They do not say goodbye. They literally throw it into a closet and run out of the room. That very night, everyone is sleeping in the house, and one of the twins is plagued by nightmares. He is dreaming of himself watching himself sleep. So he is outside of his body watching himself sleep, and he sees this shadowy, smoky figure watching his sleeping body right next to him. He wakes up gasping in fear at 2:30 a.m. At that exact same second, simultaneously, his twin brother wakes up screaming. It's so loud it wakes up the parents. The parents run to find the twin who had just screamed in his bed, eyes open, paralyzed, gasping for air, and they're trying to move him, but he can't move his body.
Oh my gosh.
And it looked like something was pinning him down.
Oh,
I just got chills.
Brutal. Yeah.
The night terrors continued until finally his parents called a friend because they were something paranormal was happening. The twins had finally confessed it's for sure the
Closet.
Ouija board. The Ouija board that's in the closet. They brought a friend over who did some things and took all of the occult books and the Ouija board from the house.
Can you imagine in that moment just realizing how much you fucked up?
Oh, and you're
the
terrified.
terror and
Yeah.
then being oh my God, but I did this to myself.
You thought it was
Deana-Roga.
just playful.
Yeah.
What did that say?
But did they think it was just playful if they did that
Dark.
much research into the occult and everything like that?
They're kids,
they
though.
should. I know, but there's seriousness in the readings and teachings of it, unless they think that it's all just part of the
When
play.
you're 12 or 13, I don't know their age, but even when you read something serious,
Yeah.
how serious do you think the world is?
I guess they found out
Yeah.
how serious the paranormal world is.
So they thought it was over, right? They thought, the board's gone, the book, all the books, the occult things are gone.
Is this yours?
But it was far from over because a couple days later, they found their mom in her bedroom, sitting alone on the bed, using the Ouija board. But when they
What the
walked
hell,
in on her,
Mom?
she is in a trance.
Oh,
One
yes!
hand on the planchette, another hand has a pen, and she's writing on a notepad.
Oh my God.
She is writing in a frenzy.
Feverishly.
But she's vacant. She doesn't even notice the fact that they walked in. One of the twins goes, "Mom?" And as he whispers, "Mom," She stops moving the pen. Like
Are
this.
you recording?
We are recording. She freezes, but doesn't turn to look at them. It's like out of a horror movie. And slowly she
It's dark.
turns her head, the warmth in her eyes gone. The mother that they knew is not
Punish.
there.
Computer.
Don't punish my computer, please.
I'm eternal.
In a voice cracked and broken,
I can't say.
she snarled, "Get
I told her.
out." And the boys
I'm moving.
ran, terrified. Yeah, moving out.
When in doubt, move out.
Later, the twins like confronted their mom. They were like, "What the heck? Like, you were so terrifying. Like, why were you, also, why were you using the board?"
Mhm.
And she, at first, she denies it. She was like, I wasn't using the board. The board's gone. But then she confesses and says that like she kept the board and has been using it in secret. But she was like, I'm just trying to
But
communicate.
why?
Well, her brother, I guess, had deceased, like had passed away. So she was like trying to, she
saw the seriousness of what her children experienced and then took away from that. Oh, I can access the other side. Let me try to access my brother.
yes. And opened herself up to who knows what. Because clearly at this point, there's something dark attached to the board. Like,
yeah.
And I do believe that if you use a Ouija board and you do bring forth something dark, but you try to get rid of the board, I think that it's part of the board now. Like, unless you do some like ritual to cleanse it, I don't know.
Yeah.
But so
I don't understand.
me neither. It took their aunt stepping in with holy water, prayers, and rituals to like finally banish what had been invited in. The activity stopped, but the house apparently was never the same. Even years later, there was a heaviness to it. There was a lingering shadow that no one talks about in their family anymore. Their mom still denies everything. And they very ominously, it's Reddit, but they say that their mom, like sometimes they look in her eyes
What
and
date is it?
they don't think she's there.
Oh, I hate that. That so reminds me of the ending of Us.
I know. Like, who is it really?
Yeah, who is it?
So those are terrifying, right?
Oh, are you going to uplift us?
I do have one positive. Who is she?
Oh my God, I literally prepared a listener story that was uplifting because I did not think ever that you would go uplifting with a
I
Ouija.
went a little uplifting.
Let's hear it.
This is a short one, but it was also posted on Reddit. It's from I'm a stay-at-home dad.
Good for you.
This is not their personal story, but it's their parents' story. So before I'm a stay-at-home dad was born, it was his parents and his older brother, who was a baby at the time. And his parents had rented a house that the aunt and uncle had owned in the late 70s, but really tragically, the aunt had died by suicide in the early 60s in the back bedroom of the top floor. Shortly after I'm a stay-at-home dad's brother was born, the parents decided to use a Ouija board to try to contact the aunt. And they very much believed that they had communicated with her. They were talking to her. And after a few questions and answers, the planchette starts moving on its own. And it spells out M-O-V-E,
Plausible.
move, J-A-Y, move J. The user's brother's name was Jason, and the parents would say J, like call him J a lot.
Yeah.
Shot.
So they're like, move J, like right now? Like, what are they talking about, right? This must be intuition, or there's like a communication between the aunt and them. They take it as they should move the crib, where the crib is.
Yeah.
They move the crib.
Oh my God.
Suffering.
I already have chills.
And a few days later, like truly 2 days later, there's a massive storm that a tree falls into the window of Jay's room and lands in the exact spot that the crib used to be.
Oh my God. Holy shit. My entire body. Like I'm freezing cold.
I have chills too.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Thank God they listened.
Isn't that wild? And
it
thank God
also
they
makes
used a
me-
Ouija board.
I know. Well, I was going to say it makes me wonder like if there were other attempts by the spirit to warn them and they just like weren't getting it. And it was like, okay,
Right.
finally I get to like literally
Yeah.
spell it out.
your
My
mustache is falling.
falling. It's also not on perfectly center.
No, it's a little crooked, which works for you.
My little zany.
But yeah, isn't that an amazing story of a
Yeah.
Ouija board?
Holy crap. It just is like, why can't all Ouija board experiences be like that? Where like you
I
get
know.
saved or some sort of like really important information that turns out to be true.
This is strange.
This is strange. Nothing
This whole
about this podcast
experience.
is not strange.
That's very true. It's also going to be strange when I drive home like this. Oh,
The glue stayed on my face.
Yeah.
The mustache came off.
Also, wait, turn to look at me.
What'd I do?
The bottom of your braid is
Oh, is it out?
on the other side. So
Shot.
Oh, shoot.
it looks like Poe
Guys,
has
my rat tail.
a rat tail. I was
I don't think it's
cackling
been out the whole time.
because earlier, because you poured blood on me outside,
Yeah.
and then I was like, I'll stand outside as you go get in your costume and hopefully dry a little bit so I'm not
Yeah.
dripping wet in here. But your landscapers are
leave.
here,
Yes.
and I was in front of your house,
They were in
just
the back.
standing,
Definitely.
but one of them came around,
So you come around
and
this
I was
side?
like, hey.
Oh, I did hear you say hi.
And then I was just thinking about, I am a blood-soaked figure and standing in front of your house. Like, what if a neighbor calls the police and is like, oh my God, this girl needs help?
The neighbors know what I do, so I don't think they... Which is actually maybe concerning.
I was just going to say, honestly, no one came by me except for your nanny.
You also had, like, we were recording a TikTok, so
I'm dancing.
you were standing there, like, in front of a selfie stick with the camera, so...
Yeah.
I
pouring the
think-
blood on myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I have an email. This is called The Ouija Board That Predicted the Future.
Mm.
Hi, ghostesses. My name is Bella, and throughout my life, I've had quite a few paranormal encounters. However, the one you might enjoy the most is actually from my mother. For background, my mom moved around a lot because growing up, her dad was in the Navy, and they relocated for his job. When my mother was about 12 years old, she got the itch that many of us spooky girls experienced growing up, and that was to play with a Ouija board.
Sensible.
A sensible decision for a teenage girl.
I feel like GhostTube can take over. We've
Yeah.
got one ghost in the room.
You don't need to say anything.
Mm-mm.
They'll chime in. She already had some scarier paranormal experiences before this and thought that, yeah, maybe it will be a good idea to keep it a little more lighthearted with a Ouija board. So
Lighthearted.
she and her friends asked the typical questions. And although they got some responses, nothing was quite notable, or so she thought. Towards the end of the session, my mom curiously asked if the entity she was talking to could tell her where she would be living in the next few years.
Mm.
And the response was George Washington. They asked it again, and the response that they got was completely different. It answered Richland. My mom and her friend were quite confused as it changed the answer completely, so they didn't really think much of
Idaho.
it. As some of the answers they got previously also didn't seem to make much sense. So they ended the session soon after, and nothing scary or spooky to report.
Is it
My-
going to be
You're
like a
listening.
street name?
Yeah.
Lights.
My mom ended up moving to a new state within a year, and it didn't seem to align with the Ouija board's predictions.
It's falling off.
So she forgot about it.
You want to just take it off?
I'm going to make it to the end of the story with
Okay.
my mustache. As I mentioned earlier, my mom and her family moved around a lot, and so it wasn't unusual for them to spend a year or two in just one place before moving
Nasty.
again. When she was entering high school, her family moved once again. My grandparents and her ended up moving to Washington State, which, when she found that out, she was slightly freaked out, but she tried to rationalize it. And when they first moved there, they had yet to pick out a house, so they stayed in an apartment in the town over, from which they eventually bought a home, and where my mom would attend school. The apartment was located in Richland, Washington, on George Washington Way.
Whoa.
At that point, she had no rational explanation for this, and this was her reasoning for never wanting me to play with a Ouija
What's
board,
your name?
which I should have listened to.
What? But I feel like this is such a good reason to use a
To
Ouija
use
board.
one, right?
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed a more lighthearted Ouija board story. I love your podcast. Maybe later I'll share some of my own experiences. Stay spooky, Bella.
Bella, you teased us with you should have listened to your mom's advice, meaning that you used a Ouija board, meaning something scary happened and you are
Tell
just leaving
us.
us hanging.
Wait, should I look to see if Bella emailed?
Oh, yeah.
Really quick?
Yeah.
As my mustache continues to fall off.
Mhm.
We won't yell at you, Bella, until we know that we truly need to. And yell we will, because that is the only email you have ever sent
Bella!
us.
If I were in your home, I would dump a bucket of blood on you. I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. I mean, if you've watched Carrie, this is basically a message about having your period. So
Oh, there it goes. There she goes. But the glue's still stuck on my lip.
I want to.
Want to what? Want to kiss me right now? Bésame.
I
Come
like
outside.
come outside. You want us to go back outside? Or are you outside? Oh my God, what if one of my spirits is from the cars?
Oh, they're calling out.
I'm coming soon. This wasn't as scary as it's been in the past.
No. And I feel like my next episode I thought was going to be scary, and it's actually kind of not. So is this the October that we finally pull ourselves together and don't get haunted? We'll find out.
We have been told also, according to the rules of Lily, Lily is a protective spirit as well. So maybe by trying to be extra spooky and inviting haunted objects into our space, we're actually creating a safer space because we're really only bringing like good spirits
Oh, true.
into our space with
True.
us.
So they're like, hello, no, this is my
Then
moment
no-no
in my
space
house. Hey, stop. Don't touch me there.
Leave here.
Is my no-no square.
Yeah, they're
And
saying, hey, leave here.
exactly. Way to go. High five.
High five.
But let us know if you experienced anything or if you are picking up on anything that is coming through GhostTube or through Lily or just audio things that you're hearing on your end. And please email us all of your ghostly encounters, your scary stories. We can't wait to read them. They don't all have to be scary, but I like scary.
Yes. And now is the moment. If you're like,
There she goes.
hey, I've been meaning to email them for a long time and you haven't,
Now's
we're
your
telling
time.
you now.
Do it now.
Do it during the spookiest season of the year.
If you want episodes 1 week early and ad-free, go check us out on Patreon. We also have
Backward.
bonus episodes on there.
Confusing.
Are you confused about Patreon? Type in patreon.com/2 girls 1 ghost podcast and find us there. We have campfire
Thank
stories
you.
there.
Lily, for joining us. Thank you. All of you.
And a final intention setting, boundary setting. There are no spirits allowed to stick here in Corinne's home. There are no spirits that are allowed to follow our listeners, to harm our listeners, to harm us. We are only welcoming good, positive energy into our lives and into the lives of all of you who are listening.
Shout out to Jamie Ryan, who edits and produces our podcast and sometimes also has to be haunted.
Yes, only positive energy for Jamie as well.
And we will see you on the other side.